Deuces on.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is the Robo Writers Podcast. It's your boy, Rob Whitney. As always, joined by my lovely co-host, Nikki Nick. Nikki Nick, what's up?
Nothing much. Good evening, everybody. We have a jam-packed show today, literally, so
Yeah, lots
we're
to talk
going to
about.
get right to it. There is an NBA update that we're going to do first. And first, we're going to talk about the deals that's been going on during the draft period right now, and people leaving teams, going to different teams, and everybody's not too happy about that. So
Not at all.
we get started off with the Knicks landing Derrick Rose, and how do you feel about that, Rob?
Well, I think it's about 5 years too late. If you ask me, if this was like 2010 and you told me the Knicks got Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah, I'm like, all right, that's a nice little squad. But Derrick Rose knees ain't no better than mine right now. So I don't know how well they'll fare. I mean, maybe you could say they stockpiling or hoping for something in the long run when maybe LeBron isn't in the league anymore, or I don't know what they're going for. But I just think it's a case of too little, too late. Even with Derrick Rose and Melo and Noah, who's also been hurt all the time, they'll probably make the playoffs and give you something there. But as far as making a serious run, I just can't see it in the East. It just seems that LeBron has that all locked up for the foreseeable future. That's my opinion.
I can agree with that because I think that, like you said, it's a little bit too little, too late with the whole Derrick Rose leaving and landing, and maybe not to say that. I mean, he's still kind of young, but not young in athlete terms. So I think that they will, like you said, maybe make a good play, have a good season, maybe make a playoff run or something. But it's just like that person, I guess, that you can't take seriously. I'm not going to be able to take them too seriously. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I think that'll be all that we'll get from them.
Okay.
All right. So, in other NBA news, Atlanta um, made a deal to the Pacers, and it was a 3-team deal, it seems. So, how do you feel about that?
Well, it seemed like Jeff Teague was their man for the longest. That was their point guard, but they wanted to make a little change anyway because I think they're grooming the guy Schroeder to come up and be the new guy and the new starting point guard. They did get George Hill from the Pacers in the deal, and the Pacers got a lot better, I think, as far as having an actual true point guard running a point for them. So we'll see how it works out. Like I said, a lot of these teams are still just going to be middle of the road teams. They'll be better than the bottom feeders in the East, but none of these moves are striking me as, oh yeah, they're going to be able to compete with the Cavaliers and LeBron and
Well,
Kyrie
because
and
LeBron isn't
Kemba.
really going anywhere. So with him
Yeah.
not going anywhere, it's like either come to it seems like it's come to his team and make his team even greater than what it is now, or you're all
Team
just
up
going to
somewhere
be
else.
competing on some small level, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Only for LeBron to do a repeat of or a three-peat or whatever goes on of his playoff run, his championship runs.
Yeah, don't forget that championship. I know you still kind of salty, but yeah,
Whatever. Okay, moving along. Kevin Durant
Oh yeah.
is
Oh yeah. I've
now
been meaning to say about
in the Golden State Warriors. He's back. He took less money. He's now with them. I know I don't think it's such a bad idea, but
I'm
I
pretty sure
think I
you
know
don't.
your opinion on this. So go right ahead.
As many of our fans who may have caught my live feed the other day on Facebook and been monitoring my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, I am so not happy with this move. I have actually referred to Mr. Durant, which I'll call him now, as what I believe a hoe ass move. And this is no disrespect to hoes. He gives hoes a bad name for this move. I mean, to go to the direct competition, the team that you had in your sights, you had in your crosshairs, that you had them. You were up 3-1. You were leading in the fourth quarter of Game 6 at home. You had them. It just took a little bit more effort. And some would say the reason they lost, the reason they didn't pull it out is because of him. So you mean to tell me you stink it up collectively in the fourth quarters of those games in which all you had to do was win one game to make it to the NBA Finals, and then you decide to go to the team in which they beat you? Talk about a coward move. I just can't say anymore, and we'll get into this later when we discuss good look, bad look, but I can't explain it. Like I said, I think it was a whole ass move, and that's with all due respect to the hoes out there. I really do not like at all what Kevin Durant did.
Well, I think you're not alone. And a lot of people, I saw a lot of maybe out of one or two congratulations, look at the Warriors now posts. It was probably like 50. Like, what is he doing? Why did he go there? What's going on? So I think I definitely know you're not in the minority
Not at
on that
all.
one.
And we actually have a little tidbit from Kevin Durant's press conference today being introduced by the Warriors, and we'll play that for you.
KD, you wrote that the last 2 weeks have been some of the most challenging of your life, and that this decision reflected your basketball career, but also your growth as a man. Tell people about these 2 weeks. And
as a man, he looked like a sucker, but that's just my opinion.
Just anything that jumped out at you, and how that whole process went.
It's been hectic. It's a lot of attention that comes with being in this position, and I knew that. And when I met these guys, I felt as comfortable as I ever felt, and it was organic, it was authentic, it was real, and there's feelings I couldn't ignore. So, I made a decision to come in and play for these guys, and I feel great, and I feel excited about this opportunity.
When you look at your relationships in international play, even with Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala, you're playing against a Draymond Green, a Klay Thompson. They wanted you and welcomed you. How much of the personality fit was important as well as the basketball fit for you?
I was shocked that those four guys came in to meet me a couple of days ago. Team, won 73 games and the championship before. I didn't think that they would be interested in a player like me because they had so much success. But to see them together, they all walked in and looked like they were holding hands. It was a family. And I can tell they enjoy being.
Oh, isn't that sweet? They were holding hands. Don't make me sick. I think I almost threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Around each other. And that was, like I said, that was something I couldn't ignore. It was just a great vibe throughout the whole day. So I'm glad I'm here, man. Like I said, I'm excited, and I'm just ready to play ball.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nick, but that to me was just nauseating.
Yeah, you have your opinion. I have mine.
That's what's so great about the show. We're allowed to disagree.
Exactly.
So from the NBA to the NFL we go. I saw something interesting perusing NFL.com over the last week or so. They had the dream coaching staff and who they thought was the best coaching. If you could take any of the coaches and make your own coaching staff, who would your coaching staff be? I thought theirs was pretty cool. They had names like obviously Bill Belichick as the head coach, the offensive coordinator. They had the Big Mike from Green Bay, which it makes a lot of sense what their offense is doing. So I decided it would be fun to see if me and Nick would put together our dream coaching staffs and what they would look like. So I'm interested to hear where you went with it, Nick. So if you please, do you have your dream coaching staff?
It was very hard, ladies and gentlemen, very hard to decide who I would pick, and hold it down to Mike Tomlin. I like him as a coach. I think what he did with the Steelers, even though I'm the Eagles fan, I think what he has done and what he continues to do with the Steelers is pretty remarkable for a coach. He's a pretty great coach. He turned the team around and everything. He's not I guess what everybody would call a loser type coach or something like that. I mean, he has a pretty impressive record. They were Super Bowl champions. So I believe that he would be good for my team.
Okay.
We like to win.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that.
Next, it was hard because my offensive coordinator, even though he's not an offensive coordinator anymore, he's a head coach. But hey, if I would have had to get him in his prime or whatever, it would have been Hugh Jackson. I think he would have been good for my winning team. So too bad. I mean, it's not a bad thing that he became to be a head coach because that's what a lot of times you strive for, but just would have been nice. And my defensive coordinator I picked was, I know they're a bunch of cheaters.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, God.
But defensive wise, they are pretty good. So I picked Patricia.
New England.
By any means necessary.
By any means necessary? Oh, man. They brother Malcolm in over there in New England.
So, yes, they were my picks. All pretty good picks.
That's good. That's a pretty good coaching tree. I might say that's a very good coaching tree.
Agreed. All pretty good picks, and even if they didn't win in the end, they definitely know what it takes to get there. So
yeah. So
and that's what I like.
That's a nice little squad. I gotta say, that's a nice little coaching staff there. I'm a little impressed, Nikki Dick. I'm impressed with your football acumen, as it were. So I'm gonna go into mine. First off, I kind of agree. I mean, I have to with what he's done, even though I don't like him. I don't like his squad. I'd have to go with my head coach would probably be Bill Belichick, because of the pedigree and the four Super Bowls. I mean, geez, and what he's able to do over a sustained period of time, just sustained greatness. So many seasons with at least 12 wins, 13 wins. I mean, every year it seems like they win in the AFC East division. So that's definitely my head coach, my leader of the ship. My offensive coordinator, I'm going down south with it to the Big Easy. I'm going Sean Payton out of New Orleans as my offensive coordinator. I think what he's done with Drew Brees and that offense and his game plan and his strategy and his willing to make gutsy offensive calls works well with Belichick, willing to make gutsy calls. So I'm going Sean Payton as my offensive coordinator. My defensive coordinator is a little unorthodox. I'm going out of the box. I'm going over to the Bay over in Oakland, and I'm grabbing Jack Del Rio as my defensive coordinator. I've always liked him defensively, what his defensive do. You don't know, he was the defensive coordinator in Denver when they first went to the Super Bowl and they had that, that bad loss to Seattle, a lot of that was not on the defense. That was on the offense, who had a lot of turnovers, and the game kind of got away early. But he did a great job with the defense in Denver before Wade Phillips took over. So he's always been a great defensive coach. He was great defensively in Jacksonville. And the Raiders are pretty good defensively. So I'm going Jack Del Rio as my defensive coordinator. So that's my coaching tree. Nick, I'm anxious for your opinion on my coaching staff.
Pretty good, but not as good as mine.
I didn't think you would say that. I didn't think you would think yours was not up to par with mine. But who am I to argue? These are usually right. So I'm gonna let you have that one because I did like your staff. So I'm gonna get this round to you, Nicky Nick. I'm gonna get this round to you.
Sounds good. All right, next we're going to get into the hot topics of the week, of the month, of the year, whatever you want to call it right now. And with the guns and situations that's going on in America right now, police officers killing innocent people. It's up to, I looked it up last night because I was wondering where a couple of people was getting these numbers from. So far, the police in the United States collectively have killed about 604 Americans. Not all Black Americans, but young, old, white, Black, Hispanic, all collectively, and we're only in July. You figure in our second week in July.
Wow.
It's just mind-baffling. It's just mind-baffling that this is going on. So, in lieu of Anton Sterling's murder, just want to get your opinion on that.
First of all, I want to thank you for calling it what it was. It was a murder. To me, it was an execution of a man who many in the community had a lot of love for. I mean, in Philadelphia, where we're from, I think everybody knows whoever the local DVD or CD man is that's selling the DVDs or CDs in front of the Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, the barber shop comes in and has the CDs or DVDs. I'm not sure at the beauty shop if you go, Nick, but I'm sure there's somebody that goes in there and tries to sell stuff to the ladies when they're in the shop selling CDs, DVDs. So we know what that person in the community means, and that people look for that person and hold that person in some high regard. So it was kind of, from a personal standpoint, it hurt to see somebody who was that guy in the community get taken down like that. And it was hard to watch the video. I mean, it was hard. It made me sick to my stomach. It made me cry. I'm not ashamed to say that as a man. I have 3 children at home, and I'm a young Black man, relatively young, getting up there, but I'm relatively young, and it scares me that one wrong move, one wrong movement, and my life could be over, and my children could have no father. It's scary. It shouldn't be that way. This is supposed to be America, the supposed greatest country in the world, and it's sad. It's depressing. It gives you this melancholy feeling every time you think about it. Every time you think about people who are sworn to protect and serve that wind up taking people's lives. I'm just devastated by it. It also makes me angry. Not to mention Alton Sterling, but just recently getting the news of the young man in Minnesota that was gunned down in his car while his girlfriend recorded it on Facebook Live, and his 4-year-old child was in the back seat of the car. I mean, what's the most upsetting about that story is that he complied with every rule he was supposed to comply with. It was complying that got him gunned down. The officer was so frightened and scared of the situation that he hadn't realized that he had given the man instructions to show him his ID. And when he went to show him his ID, the officer completely lost train of thought and shot him, thinking he was reaching for something. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and I mean, and this whole thing was caught, not the actual shooting, but the aftermath of everything was caught on video. This man, watching this man take his last breath with a child sitting in the back seat of that car, and this woman begging and pleading that he not die this way. Once again, this was another story that brought tears. I couldn't imagine anything like that happening to me, and any of my 3 daughters are in the backseat and have to witness it. Nick, I don't want to take up all the space. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I know we, in our pre-show, conversations that we have, you were very vocal on this and very upset. So I'd love to give you your time to express how you feel about this.
I was very upset because as a community, we're not just a community in one city. And just reading some of the comments, like, we're from Philadelphia, in case you may or may not know, and this is supposed to be the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. So it's like, if anybody should sympathize and empathize with these families, it should be us. And just everybody's like, oh, well, why are y'all protesting here? And y'all need to go to Louisiana or wherever with all of that. And to me, it's just sad. Like, I was very emotional all day long. It was hard for me to finally go to sleep because this was weighing heavily on my mind and my heart. And I've been fighting big tears all day because it's like, you watch the news and see one man, and then within hours, you're finding out about somebody else. And it's just like, when is it going to end? You can't operate in this country without the people who are in it. And everybody plays, whether you think they do or not, everybody plays a role into how this nation is run, how productive we are, how valuable everyone is. If you took away the Mexicans from one day, like, it's crazy. It was a movie called, I think, A Day Without a Mexican or something like that. Just take away one race, take away one race for a day and see how things wouldn't get done and how things wouldn't be done, because everybody plays a vital role in this country. And
you said that.
To devalue somebody's life because you're afraid of the stereotype, it's not right. You shouldn't devalue somebody's life, whether you're another black person trying to kill or got beef or whatever with another black person, or whether you're white and you're just prejudiced against the whole community. But we all have to work together. We all have to coexist together. And whether or not you agree with somebody's lifestyle doesn't mean that you should just take their person away.
That's absolutely right. I mean, you have your views on what you believe in that you've so eloquently, spoke about on this show on numerous occasions. But I know for a fact that you would never wish harm on any human being, no matter how they carried themselves or what they did with their life. I know for a fact that you would never wish, anything but well-being on that person. It just wouldn't be what you would agree with. So I know where you're coming from. And I just wanted to share a story with our listeners of an incident that I had of what I thought was police misconduct. And I'm so sorry that I did not follow through on it. This was several years back. I was walking to visit the girl at the time I was dating. Actually happened to be Miss A that I brought up on the show before. I was on my way to her house, and like we've said numerous times, we live in Philadelphia. I lived in a rather normal, kind of lower to middle class neighborhood in Mount Airy. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Mount Airy, and walking up Upsall Street off of Germantown Avenue. I lived on the other side of Germantown Avenue, the west side. She lived on the east side. So I'm walking up Upsall Street, coming from Germantown Avenue toward where she lives at. She lived about Upsall and Stenton Avenue. So I'm walking up Upsall Street, and behind me I see a police car that's creeping. And they're creeping up the opposite side of the street that I'm on. And what was weird was they actually, before they started creeping behind me, they had came from my left side. Like, they were supposed to cross in front of me, but let me go and waited there for far too long after, they had stopped at the stop sign. They stopped at the stop sign to let me go and then waited there for a while. So I knew something was wrong. And then they decided to follow me up the street as I was walking. Finally, after like a block and a half, the squad car speeds up, cuts across traffic into the other lane of traffic going the opposite direction, pulls up right to me. The officer hops out of the car without even asking me anything, brandished his firearm to me, pointed at me in my face, and told me to put my hands up and put them on the wall. Where I was at, there was no wall. They had to put them on the tree. He asked for all my information, my wallet, my ID, and asked me where I was coming from. I told him my story. And it turns out, supposedly, that I had fit the description of someone who had brandished a firearm and was running around the same neighborhood. Although what I had on was pretty basic. And at the time, Nikhil, you can suffice to this. This was, you want to say the late 2008, 9, 10, around that time. I was wearing a white t-shirt and cargo shorts in the middle of the summer. Nick, you can attest, and correct me if I'm wrong, that most black males, in Philadelphia in the summer wore that same exact outfit. Am I not?
Yeah.
Am I not telling the truth? We don't wear a whole lot of fancy stuff in the summer. It's hot. You just want to wear something that's light, free flowing, and it's not going to make you even hotter. So white t-shirts are a must. Cargo shirts are really big in this city. So that's what I had on. So apparently anybody could have been dressed like me, but apparently I fit the description of somebody that supposedly had a gun. And the only thing I got other than without even getting a sorry or anything, before they left, when the radio dispatcher radioed to them that the person they were looking for was on the completely other side of the neighborhood that we were in, was a smart-ass remark from one of the other officers that showed up as backup that, he don't look like he was running anyway. Or he don't look like he was going to be running anywhere anyway. For all the viewers that don't know, I'm a little heavy set. So I thought that was rather unprofessional. And the fact that even after they realized they had the wrong person, nobody, not one of them, and it was at least 4 of them at this point, would say to me that they were sorry that they had the wrong person and they were looking for such and such. I had to figure that out on my own using my senses and listening into the dispatch and everything else that was going around. I felt completely violated, disrespected. I didn't do anything wrong, and yet I had a gun in my face. And if had I moved the wrong way, I could have been just another casualty of somebody that was mistaken identity. So that's just my story, and it lets you know that it can happen to anybody. It's not just
definitely
the
can.
Tattoos and the cornrows or
and the do-rags and
do-rag. It's not about a thug thing or a hoodlum mentality. I'm far from a hoodlum. Anybody will tell you that. Nick, you know me for years now. I'm far from the thug look. It's not me. I wear glasses, and I'm the college graduate type dude. I'm the guy that wears a belt or whatever. My pants are up on my waist. I'm not that dude, but it doesn't matter. You can be profiled. You can be said to look or fit the description of a suspect, and it's absolutely terrible. But we're not going to let this get us in an area where we could talk about this all night long, like me and Nick were saying actually earlier in our pre-show discussions, that we could do a whole show on this, which maybe we might get to if the fans want that. But we're gonna move along. Also, one last hot topic was a big to do was made about Jesse Williams and his speech at the BET Awards. And one question I had for Nikki Nick was, and I can tell she's probably had these type of naysayers and whatnot. For those who don't know, who haven't seen Nikki Nick's Facebook or Twitter, she's a fair-skinned African-American woman. And people were saying that the only reason why anybody wanted to listen to Jesse Williams' message is because he was light-skinned. He's a mixed African-American with light eyes, and people have been saying the same thing for years, and you only want to listen now because of who the message is coming from. My thing was, I didn't think that at all. And number two, is that even important to you, Nikki Nick? Do you think it's important who the message comes from? And to our fair-skinned brothers and sisters, should you be disrespected or thought of as less black when you have a profound idea on a situation, or you want to speak your mind and you feel the need to say something about the injustices? So, Nikki Nick, how do you feel about that?
To me, it's sad that, I mean, we're already going through so much. And to me, it doesn't matter if the message is coming from somebody white as the walls or rice or whatever you want to say, a t-shirt, or as dark as the street. The truth is the truth. And it doesn't matter who it's coming from. We have different shades of brown in our culture, just like any other culture. You have the lightest to the light to the darkest to the dark. So to me, you can't discredit his message just because he's a light-skinned guy with light eyes, or he's half white because his mother is white and his father is black, just because he's mixed. It doesn't matter. The truth, like I said, the truth is the truth. Did you see his mom, feeling some type of way? She probably cringed or felt some type of way a little bit. But
she was proud
the
of her
thing
son.
is, exactly, she's not
proud of her son.
She's not one of the people that he's talking about. And like he said, he's gotten controversy from the people in his own family. You figure these are people that he grew up with, maybe from his mother's side or his father's side, who after this was just as negative as a person that didn't know him from. So to me, it doesn't matter. The truth hurts. So if you felt some type of way about it, do something about it.
Exactly. And like he said, if you have, I believe he said, if you have a critique for those fighting for injustice, but you have no desire to find equal rights for black people, you have no room to talk. Please sit down. We don't need you in this conversation. If you don't have anything viable to bring to the table to somehow get us the equal rights we deserve, then we don't need to be speaking to you. We don't need you at the table. But
exactly.
I just thought that was poignant, and we'll shift gears from the hot topics that were very serious this week to get into some good look, bad look, so we can have a little fun. We talked about a little stuff we're talking about in the good look, bad look earlier in the show. So first up was the Knicks actually wanting Derrick Rose. Quickly, Nikki Nick, is that a good look or a bad look?
Would have been a good look a couple of years ago. Bad look now.
Definitely a bad look. I think your daddy's knees are better than Derrick Rose.
Agreed.
So, on the same flip of that coin, I think we know where we'll be at, but the Bulls moving on from Derrick Rose quickly, is that a good look or a bad look?
I guess it may be a good look because I hear that Dwayne Wade
has signed with the Chicago Bulls.
Exactly. So
2 years, $47 million, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
So hey,
they got Rajon Rondo, D Wade, Jimmy Bucket, so they'll be able to do some things in the East. Like I said, I don't think it'll be enough to beat the Cavs, but they'll make it interesting in the East. So Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls definitely, that was a good look for them to move on. I think that ship has passed. He's well beyond his prime. He may have a couple okay seasons left in him. Maybe give you 15, 16 points, something like that. But he won't be the Derrick Rose that was once the MVP of the league.
Exactly. So, hey, out with the old and in with the little older.
With a little older. I love it. I love it. Very good. Very good.
But hey, older, but hey, Dwayne Wade, he's a good player. So,
what did recently pass is the NBA draft. In the NBA draft, there, our Philadelphia 76ers had the first pick, and they selected LSU forward Ben Simmons. Was it a good look or bad look picking Ben Simmons with the number 1 pick?
I think it was a good look. Everybody was pretty excited about our pick, and I'm anxious to see what he's going to do for us in the upcoming season. So I think it was a good look for the Sixers.
I got to agree with you. I think it was a good look. I've been watching him in the summer league, and I got to say, he can ball, and he can definitely pass the rock. I mean, the passes I'm seeing him do have such touch on it. It reminds you of a young LeBron James. I have to say it. The touch passes, the bounce passes, everything in the repertoire is like, if you get him the good enough scorers around him or people that can make plays, and this is a team that can go far in the playoffs or, challenge for maybe a division crown somewhere down the line. I'm not saying next season, but you put the right pieces around him and they can do some things. The kid is special, to say the least.
Definitely.
And last but not least, we're going to end on this because I think it deserves a 1 over. We talked about it earlier. We're going to get some more on it as I definitely have an entire rant that I'll finish. But a good look or bad look, Kevin Durant skipping town on the OKC Thunder. I mean, the fans were so upset, they actually went to his house in Oklahoma City and dropped his jerseys off instead of burning them. Good look or bad look,
wow.
for him to skip town on the Thunder after they were 1 game away from the NBA Finals.
I say good luck, he say bad luck. Tomato.
So you already know where I'm. At least you already know where I'm going with it. I think it was a terrible look. Like I've said at the beginning of this show, I thought it showed cowardice. I think it showed that he gave up. He wanted to take the easy road. Some people would do anything just to have a championship and call himself a champion. I mean, it looks bad, and it looks like it's more acceptable when you got guys going from team to team trying to win a championship and chasing that championship when it's a role player, when it's a Robert Horry type that's got 7 championships but played a pivotal role on all those teams making clutch shots rather than somebody who is a superstar in their own right and should be able to lead a team of their own to a championship, not piggyback off what is looking like an emerging franchise and maybe an emerging dynasty in this league for years to come. I thought it was pathetic. Just seeing him next season maybe hold that trophy might completely turn me off of basketball. I don't know. It's just, I thought it was absolutely disgusting. A lot has been made of LeBron James and, he left Cleveland to go to Miami. At the time, Miami was worse than Cleveland was. Cleveland was the number 1 seed in the East when LeBron left. He went to Miami, who at the time were mediocre at best, and was able to put something together where a team came together and made themselves better than what they were. This isn't LeBron going from the Cavs, who were the number 1 seed, number 2 seed in those last couple of years he was there, and then all of a sudden signing with the Celtics, who had beaten him in consecutive years. That would have been a corny move. That would have been a hoe-ass move, as I so eloquently put it earlier. That would have been bad. That would have been cowardice. But that's not what he did. He chose to play with a friend on a team that wasn't as good, but had the potential to be better while gathering parts. That is completely different from, that team won a championship and then won 73 games and came within 48 minutes of winning the title this year. And I'm going to piggyback on them because they'll probably be just as good next year, and nobody's going to be able to stop them from at least reaching the championship. I thought it was absolutely pathetic. But I don't know, if you want to try your best to convince me otherwise, go ahead. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the dude is absolutely pathetic and a coward and a sucker. And I will be actively rooting against Kevin Durant for the rest of his professional career. You can tell me if that's harsh or not. I don't really care. But I thought it was absolutely terrible. I mean, he's a joke. I mean, that was an absolute joke. Nobody his caliber of player, maybe the third best player in the entire world, should have to chase rings like some 15-year veteran role player. I mean, that was the sucker move. That was the easy way out. I have no respect for that. Like, it's not like he needs my respect, but I have no respect for that. I have no respect for him as a man, maybe still as a player because he is very great. But as a man, it just shows cowardice, his lack of integrity, his lack of heart, and giving up. I gave the analogy to some of our fans who I met over, the 4th of July, who I told them it reminded me, Nick, and you can tell me if you agree with this, of you and your friends are on the blacktop at school, and every day you get bullied by the same group of dudes. They come and they take your lunch money, and they treat you like crap. Till one day you get the bright idea to turn around and face your friends and go, yeah, why don't you give them your lunch money? All of y'all give them your lunch money. Like, that's what it seemed like to me. It was like you went from the punk to I'm going to join the bullies instead of just sticking up for my friends. To me, it was just disrespectful and a classless move. Nick, do you think that analogy fits?
That's very accurate. Nobody and that's why I think everybody is so upset, because nobody likes somebody who just, in perception, looks like you just gave up and went for the easier way out. So
you gotta earn it, man. You gotta earn it.
Exactly. If first you don't succeed, try again. But don't try again with a new team. Try again with the same team.
Exactly,
but I still think I still think it'll be a good look.
Yeah, it'll be a good look for them because, I mean, let's be honest. Who's going to stop them? I mean, come on. I mean, with those type of shooters, the way they pass the ball, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yep. I'm not wavering from that, but hey, it is what it is. I guess, some people just get tired of losing.
Yeah, I guess. Also, before we get out of here, one last note, if I'm done with my Kevin Durant diatribe. How do you feel about, before we leave, Russell Wilson and Sierra finally tying the knot?
I guess for them, it works. It's, what they both wanted, what they've been. I mean, that's the ultimate goal when you're dating somebody, to marry them, and if not, then move on. But
how do you feel about the pettiness? How do you feel about the pettiness of Future? I mean, somebody's saying he's actually been threatening that man.
He has hated them ever since they got together, and I don't know if you could chalk it up to the baby daddy, baby mama drama, but hey, I mean, same like the relationship, they moved on from it, and now they are a man and wife. So I think it's a good look for them. I wish them well, and I would never want to hate on somebody's marriage or anything like that. So the only thing I could wish them well and hope that they succeed, and that, because that ball player and movie star and all of that. People get married and then they're divorced. So I think that they should